What is yoga really? Because most of the world today has reduced yoga to being a fitness trend that involves stretching and a workout for the body. While this is one of the 8 limbs of yoga, the material paradigm has yet again hijacked the science of yoga and made it a mere trend, continuing to cloud the truth of the ever-presence of the sky. Yoga, when translated from Sanskrit, means to unite. And so it is this ancient practice of yoga that is the science of unifying one to the cosmos. Within yogic traditions, the first yogi, Adiyogi, is considered the origin of yoga itself. Within the Shiva tradition, he appears over 15,000 years ago in the upper Himalayas, where he entered Samadhi and unified with the universe. With the earliest archaeological evidence of yoga being 5,000 years old and found in modern-day India, and with many scholars believing that it could be over 10,000 years old. And so, as the science of unification has evolved and spread over time, as this information has made it across all traditions, not only because of its clarity, but because of its frequency that many great beings have expanded upon, as one with inner clarity can gain yogic intelligence, in which the 8 limbs can be unfolded. This is why you can see this unified science across time, space, and traditions, from the shamans of the Americas to the teachings of Jesus. As a spiritual seeker who finds themselves in this open green ray energy of I am from the heart full of loving awareness, can travel up the upper chakras to the light blue frequency of authentic flow of a chi master, and then to the concentration of the indigo frequency, in which one gains the unwavering perception of yogic intelligence. Before Siddhartha became the awakened one, before his realization that spawned the tradition of Buddhism, the Buddha was practicing many forms of yoga, as even his awakening did not strip him from being a yogi, but now united with the cosmos, he could help further explain the infinite nature of reality. Even Jesus has been shown to embody the essence of yoga, whether it be through his own self-realization or being taught, as there are many accounts that through Jesus' lost years between age 12 and 30, he may have traveled east and studied amongst mystics of India and Tibet, with even the Dalai Lama and other accounts saying there is records of Yeshua entering the monasteries of the Himalayas. I mean, even if he did not, there are so many self-realized beings throughout history who did not participate in yoga and the 8 limbs directly, at least not consciously, but who have awakened to unity consciousness and now preach the way of yoga through their own lens. As yoga itself is not a religion, but the technologies and the understandings of metaphysics that can help others reach peace and equanimity of the present moment. This cephalopod outreaching limbs of metaphysics is not only guidelines for the physical or moral living, but are complete inner technologies designed to lead one from ignorance to liberation. As each limb of the octopi of yoga is like a living appendage of consciousness, extending from the infinite to touch every layer of our being. A metaphysical technology that refines perception until the illusion of separation dissolves. As each limb allows one to swim through the ocean of the infinite, instruments of awareness, blocking the illusions thrown at you. The first limb of yoga is known as YAMA, the ethical foundations. YAMA is the first light that reveals the karmic threads of your life, showing you how every action, every thought ripples through the whole. As life is a forever connected spiderweb of energy, as if you pull one end, the web itself responds. With this limb having 5 fingers as well, with the 5 yamas of non-harm, truthfulness, non-stealing, mastering of energy, and non-attachment. As these principles can help one see and shape the moral geometry of consciousness in their own perception. But to gain the perception, it is not just to see these concepts, but to embody them. As to truly understand is to experience it, which comes through the embodying. And so it is like to not participate in harm, as you see everything as consciousness. Harming anything external is a result of your own internal delusions. This goes beyond just physical harm, but all aspects of the body, mental, emotional, energetically, or karmically. As to judge another, you will be judged. As this reflective understanding is to see that your karma, your action, to the external world all stems from within. And so reacting to the environments is like pulling on a rubber band. The more you pull, the more that it will snap back. And so it is to be responsive to reality, is to see the rubber web of karma, gently move it around to extend creation. As if you saw someone doing something that did not make sense to you, and you started judging them, you are only judging yourself if you were in that situation. As in reality, you are thinking, if I were in that situation, I would not do that. But you are not in that position. You are simply observing them. And so since you are not in that person's position, you have no understanding of why one is truly doing it, even if it's an act of separation. If you want to help those in this delusional cycle of suffering, one must embody satya, truthfulness, one of the fingers of YAMA. As the truth of oneness is not spoken, and so to be the best example for change, you must be the clearest mirror by being a living example, like so many great beings have been, and invited us to do so. The third finger is that of non-stealing, the perception of abundance of consciousness. As the non-stealing ethics of YAMA is not just material theft, but not taking what is not freely given. As the cultivation of asteya is by dissolving the false lens of lack, as this is a give and receiving universe. And so the one who takes will be taken from, but the one who gives will receive. And so when you no longer take, the universe gives endlessly. Mastery of energy is the fourth finger of the ethics of YAMA, commonly misinterpreted as just celibacy, but it truly means just the right use of energy, as all is energy, and so it is to channel life force energy towards higher consciousness, as the true yogi does not repress energy, but refines it, as if you stop the flow of life, you are resisting the very nature of being, leading you to act as if there are two powers in the universe, a contradiction to unity. And then the pinky of YAMA is that of non-attachment. The freedom from greed, control, and grasping, recognizing that everything in life is borrowed from the infinite, as it is this body you are playing the limited role that is just a borrowed material of earth, and it will return back to the mother. And so to hold on to nothing is to possess everything, as you become non-attached to the outcomes of the future, the memories of the past, and the materialistic concepts that do not transcend this lifetime. One will begin to drink from the fountain of youth that sees everything as one. The inner discipline of NIYAMA is the second limb of yoga, as now you begin to have the right view through the handiness of YAMA. You must step towards the next limb of inner refinement. As YAMA is to gain harmony with the external world, NIYAMA would be the counterpart of harmony within the internal. As YAMA dissolves karma, NIYAMA refines dharma. And so like YAMA, NIYAMA also has 5 fingers, 5 disciplines that cultivate purity, devotion, and inner order, with the 5 disciplines being purity, contentment, discipline, self-study, and surrender to the divine. So to cultivate the inner garden, one must gain mastery of the full hand of NIYAMA. Shusha is about cleansing of the body, mind, and environment. This is not just about hygiene, but it is about vibrational clarity, as this is the purification of energy so that prana can flow freely. As when the inner temple is clean, the divine can reside there. And so it is to gain the perception of purity of all of life, to see everything as it truly is, divine. And this includes all aspects of yourself, as life has perfectly made everything unique and has given us exactly everything we needed at every moment. So to go through and dissolve all the illusions of separation is how one purifies one's perception. Santosha is to accept what is, to be in the present moment, as to not accept the present moment is to think of the future and the past, which is to not accept reality as it is, as they are illusionary concepts of the true nature, as peace comes when desire and aversion loses their hold, as this is not complacency, but trust in the divine's perfection in motion, as contentment is the silent joy of the soul resting in the now. Tapas is the disciplinary fire, the aspect of the inner perception that heats up in the inner transformation. Through self-effort, austerity, and devotion, one will burn away the impurities of false beliefs, as tapas strengthens willpower and awakens the inner flame of purpose. And so it is the discipline that shines the light on the shadows of illusion. To stay in the right view and not fold on any truths. To uphold and embody the 8 limbs of yoga, as it is to not slip off the narrow path of life, but even if you do, to get back on it and not be defined by your fall. The 4th finger of NIYAMA is that of self-study, as the studying of the self is all that there is, whether it be through the external world, scriptures, thought patterns, the body, or more. It's all just reflections to know thyself. And so this very important discipline is so far overlooked, as the intelligence of the infinite is in the body, as it is in you. As we are already enlightened, we are already Christ-like, and we already have the non-dual perception of the Buddha. And so it is to go deep into the inner self and do the inner work that truly is the only way to find liberation. As to know the self is to see God studying God, the self-awareness to see that all resides within. The last finger of the hand of NIYAMA is to surrender to the divine. Devotion, humility, and surrender of the limited perspectives so that the limitless intelligence flows through. It is the discipline of knowing that anything you try to control is far inferior to the creation the universe has to offer. And so it is the merging of the personal efforts with the cosmic flow that truly gives you free will, as when the doer dissolves, only the divine action remains. And so as Yama balances how you move through the world, NIYAMA balances how the world moves through you. The 3rd limb is the most commonly associated aspect of yoga, as the asana is that of the postures, such as Hatha Yoga, done across the world nowadays. As this limb is the bridge between the inner and outer worlds, as now with the right views of the first 2 limbs, we can see the connection between the physical and non-physical. And so it is the Sanskrit word of asana that means seat, as this is not just the physical position, but a state of being. As it is to get all aspects of the body to be in a steady and comfortable position to flow with life. As the seat of awareness must be both stable and relaxed for the divine to flow through. And so as everything in form is geometry, we can learn how different aspects, movements, and postures can help the circuit of the divine flow through. When you sit, stand, or move consciously, you align your nervous system, spine, and the energy channels of life force with the cosmic axes. As the body becomes a yantra, a living temple, and a circuit of divine electricity. So through each pose, you are not stretching muscles, but recalibrating energy, harmonizing prana, and awakening the body's intelligence. As these asanas is preparing the body for meditation, to learn to flow freely with life and become meditative through living. As posture is not just physical, but it is the mental, emotional, energetic, and karmic postures that is all being affected. And so the pose reflects the mind, but this mirror does go both ways. So with conscious action of aligning the posture, an act of prayer to allow the divine to flow through you, you offer yourself to existence. As each posture is a mudra of the soul, a gesture of union between you and the cosmos, a dialogue with the infinite through the medium of geometry of the body. So as the body becomes steady, the mind naturally flows, as the goal of this limb is to embody the meditative state. The next limb of yoga, the fourth limb, is pranayama, as this can be understood as the expansion or control of life force. Through the breath, we can access the very current of consciousness that animates the body. As is understood throughout all of tradition, the element of the heart, air, is the bridge between the physical and the spiritual. So, as long as the breath is unsteady, so too will the body and mind. But when the breath becomes still, so too will the body and mind. And so, it is the breath that carries more than just oxygen, but the life force energy of prana that energizes the whole system. So when you practice pranayama with awareness, you are not only changing the physical chemistry, but altering your frequency. As in the deeper stages, practitioner will realize that the breath and consciousness are one. When the breath dissolves into stillness, awareness expands beyond the body, as this is the threshold between pranayama and meditation, where the yogi enters pratyahara, the withdrawal of the senses, the fifth limb of yoga. As when the breath ceases, the mind dissolves, and what remains is pure being. As in this stillness, you no longer breathe by effort, but the breath breathes you. As the boundaries between inner and outer air dissolves, you and the universe exhale each other, as this is the threshold of non-dual perception. As this limb is the means to draw inward what usually takes in from outside. And so it is when we see that the five senses are still illusionary concepts and cannot be trusted. And so it is pratyahara that begins the non-dual perception as you begin to reach equilibrium of the still point between all dual forces. As no longer chasing the external world, you start to see both the subject and object arise in the same field of awareness. As once you transcend the five senses, you begin to awaken the sixth. As the yogi begins to taste oneness, not conceptually, but viscerally. The realization that silence and sound, inner and outer, are not opposites, but they are one continuum. As the world does not disappear, it simply returns to its origin within you. As the fifth limb marks a turning point of the path of liberation, where the flow of awareness that once ran outwards begins to reverse, as the moment the senses, once slaved to the world, become servants of the soul. Perception begins to unify. The distinction between inner and outer fades, revealing that what you see and the one who sees has always been the same consciousness gazing into itself. As this is the dawn of non-dual perception, the moment when awareness begins to remember its own infinity. After pratyahara has drawn the senses inwards, awareness stands before the still mirror of the mind, in which the sixth limb of yoga arises. Dharana is the art of holding the awareness steady, as it is not effortful thinking, but it is effortless being, as it is when awareness holds itself without slipping into distraction. As the common person's attention flickers, each thought, sensation, or emotion hijacked by the mind's current. But dharana is when the current becomes laser-like, all energy flowing towards one single point. As this is referred to as yogic concentration, focusing consciousness into one-pointedness. The mantra, the breath, the heart, the flame of a candle, or even pure awareness itself. Whatever you place your full attention on, you merge with, for awareness and object are never truly two. As the stabilization of prana happens within the Sushumna Nadi, allowing the higher brain centers to synchronize into coherence, harmonizing the mental and wisdom koshas. As the boundaries between observer and observed begin to thin, and the seeds of meditation begins to bloom, creating the vibrational state necessary for the seventh limb to arise spontaneously. Dhyana is the Sanskrit word that means meditation, but not the activity, more accurately, to contemplate, to become absorbed, and to see beyond. As after the effort of dharana, the one-pointed yogic concentration, dhyana is the effortless continuity of that awareness. A stream of consciousness that flows without interruption. As dharana, you hold the focus, but in dhyana, the focus holds you. Like the smoking after a psychedelic experience, everything flips inside out. As the mind ceases to flicker, perception becomes fluid, and the river merges with the ocean. The meditator is no longer doing meditation. Meditation is happening through them. The distinction between you and the object of meditation fades. Awareness becomes self-luminous, seeing itself through itself. As the wave realizes it's the ocean, time begins to slow, thoughts dissolve, and all that remains is pure being. As this one-pointed concentration rushes like a fast train through a wormhole, with this exceedingly loud wind rushing through, one pops out the bindu into the void of meditation. And so no longer stuck in the limited meditation on a cushion, the yogi becomes meditative. All actions become the meditation. The observer and the observed melt into the one stream of awareness, as life is the meditation. But still not completely absorbed, we must take it to the next limb, the final limb of yoga, Samadhi, a Sanskrit word that means to bring together into wholeness of consciousness, the union of the seer and the seen, and the return of awareness to its source. Where YAMA and NIYAMA purified the personality, ASANA and PRANAYAMA refined the bodies, PRATYAHARA reclaimed the senses, DHARANA focused awareness, and DHYANA merged the mind into stillness. Samadhi is when even stillness dissolves. There is no meditator, no object, no practice, only pure, self-luminous consciousness. Finally, the illusion of you evaporates, and what remains is what has always been. As in this state, there is no time, no space, no thought, no identity. Awareness becomes infinite, formless, and indescribable. And so all words fall short to explain this empty, blissful oneness experience. As this is where the drop fully remembers it has always been the ocean. As once you transcend, this is not the end, as you have just reached the starting line and now enter into embodying union. As once the yogi awakens to the infinite, they return to the relative world not as a person, but as a conduit of the divine. Every action becomes karma yoga. Every breath becomes bhakti yoga. Every word becomes jnana yoga. And the royal union of Raja has blossomed at the crown within 1,000-petal lotus, in which one finally finds liberation into the kingdom of heaven. Now, the yogi is tasked with embodying and being the light. He is forever in sahaja samadhi, the nadi state, where there is effortless action while fully awake and embodied, the living liberation of jiva mukti. And so it is the two other distinctions of samadhi, savikalpa samadhi and nirvikalpa samadhi, that one can drop into effortlessly, with savikalpa being a deeper perception of absorption, with just the faint distinction between observer and the observed, and nirvikalpa being the full absorption of the formless, dissolving into unity. Now, as a true yogi, the walking, talking, light octopus of yoga, one naturally herds the sheep to unity by being the light at the end of the tunnel. As the full connection has blossomed permanently, as the lotus of the crown and the flowers of the beings now drink from the fountain of youth, and the yogi knows, I am. Now, while the 8 limbs of yoga is an archetypical roadmap to enlightenment, there are other 4 classical paths of yoga in which this 8 limbs stems from. As the 4 classical paths being karma, bhakti, jnana, and raja yoga. Karma yoga is the yoga of selfless service and right action, the path of action, as it's the art of acting in the world without attachments to the fruits of your labor. So through karma yoga, the ego dissolves in service. You act not as the doer, but as an instrument of the divine, and so work becomes a worship. Bhakti yoga is the yoga of love and surrender, the path of devotion. As this path of dissolving the self through devotion to the divine, whatever form that may take. Through chanting, prayer, and remembrance, the heart becomes the altar and love becomes the offering. Bhakti purifies emotion, transforming desire into devotion and longing into union. Jnana yoga is the yoga of wisdom and self-inquiry, the path of knowledge. It is the razor-edge path of asking, who am I? Cutting through illusions until only pure awareness remains. Through discrimination and detachment, the jnana yogi sees that the self as the absolute, the Atman and the Brahman are one. This is the path of the philosophers and mystics, those who seek truth not through devotion or action, but through direct insight. While Raja Yoga, the royal path, is the science of the mind and the path of meditation, in which this is the path the 8 limbs stem from. As through meditation, breath, posture, and awareness, Raja Yoga systematically refines consciousness from the gross to the subtle, leading to Samadhi, the direct experience of union. Yet it is a true yogi, unified with the cosmos who walks all paths, devoted to the sacred action of life itself, wields the sharp intellect of direct experience as they become a brighter living light of embodiment. So you see, yoga is not something you do. It is not the postures, nor the breathing, nor the rituals, but it's the state of union that all these practices point towards. Whether you follow the 8 limbs of Raja Yoga, or the other paths of yoga, or even other cultural paths to enlightenment like the 8 paths of Buddha or the teachings of Christ, all paths is a spiral leading back to the one universal source. The true yogi is not confined to any one tradition or form. They are the ones who live in harmony with existence, who sees the divine in every action, breath, and being. As yoga means union, the union of the breath and body, the union of the heart and mind, the union of the human and the cosmos. To go through all false illusions and remember there was never any separation to begin with, and to embody the different paths and gain the 8 limbs. The yogi merges the finite with the infinite and remembers the divine message of self-realization. I am. That's it for today's video. Like, subscribe, leave any comments, questions, topics that you want me to talk about. I'll also have resources in the description below if you want to go deeper. Thanks for watching. Peace.